Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, they seem happy together. John, I think you agree when you sit there and you watch Zoran Mamdani and President Trump meeting again. First of all, it was a secret meeting and it just wrapped up. And the big announcement was that there's some sort of housing deal. I would say they're happy together, John.
Rita, a month ago in this studio, we said President Trump has the ability to write a check for $5 billion for affordable housing on just how fast? In seconds.
I would say seconds, yes.
So the question is, what is the rest of the deal?
Well, to your point, John, that's the announcement that came out. Mamdani's the first one to put a reply out, and he put a post saying, we had a great meeting on affordable housing. And that was one of the things when Trump and Mamdani met, they said, we don't agree on a lot of things, which I think we all agree with that, but we agree on affordable housing. So you're right. The big question is, John, what kind of a deal was made for New York, and why was it sort of this covert meeting? That's kind of fascinating because it came out of nowhere today.
Well, it came out of nowhere. I had a phone call at like 11:15 today.
Not 3 in the morning?
11:15 from another a major channel in New York. John, do you know if Mamdani is meeting with President Trump?
And
I said, well, and then 5 minutes later, the New York Post puts it out that there's a meeting going on with President Trump this afternoon.
Well, I would say John knows everything. What do you guys think?
That's my bet. I don't know about that.
That's my bet.
But a month ago, we said it a month ago.
We predicted it.
That $5 billion for the federal government is chump change.
And he loves New York, John, too. That's the other thing. President Trump, born in Queens, loves New York.
I sent it to all my Democratic friends, a copy of the Daily News article where it says, I said, thank you, President Trump, for loving New York.
Yeah, and he clearly showed some love today, it looks like. I can't wait to find out more of the details. Ed Cox is with us, also Judge Richard Weinberg, and also former Chief of Staff to then the great Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Tony Carbonetti, back by popular demand. Tony.
Great to be back, and I think you're watching a boy getting schooled by a man. I think what's happening here is the president's walking him down a path, and he's going to promise him all this money, and then not the last minute, close to the last minute, there'll be very reasonable things added, like you can't house illegal immigrants here. And guess what? There needs to be voter ID, and there needs to be all these things that make perfect sense if we're going to give you money, okay, which Mamdani's going to go, oh, no, that's not part of the deal. And Trump's going to go, oh, wait, then you don't get the $5 billion.
Right. By the way, there is ID.
How do they say it in the Chinese laundry?
No ticky, no shirt.
No laundry.
I was going to say there is voter ID. Remember, you have to do it for shoveling snow. You forgot about that. There is, right?
But you're watching a boy getting schooled by a man here.
Anybody knows anything about Donald Trump doing real estate deals in New York, it's all at the closing. The ultimate deal is at the closing.
Let me just say something. As long as it helps New York, we all love New York.
Right.
And if it helps New York, God bless America.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see. Look, at the end of the day, maybe it is a win-win all the way around. Ed Cox?
The question in my mind was who is setting up whom, And I think
Don was walking him down the path.
Just said it. You just defined it.
Reeling him in.
Yep, that's it.
Well, you know what's been interesting from this whole journey, because obviously President Trump was very critical of Mamdani, and even the other day at the State of the Union, he brought up the shoveling, and he said, this very nice communist mayor of New York, I don't agree with him, but he is a nice guy. So he continues to have that kind of relationship, Ed, and it is fascinating to see that he has been open arms to Mamdani, to meet with him, to his credit, because he does care about New York.
He has the money.
Yeah, he has the money. He's holding the purse strings. Exactly. The what is it? The boy? What was your line again? The boy is schooling the man.
It's a boy being schooled by a man.
Okay, so the man is holding the purse strings, and the boy is saying, "Can I have my allowance?"
He's still a little assemblyman who happened to have an ideology.
Out of his depth. He's out of his depth.
But, way out of his depth.
It's going to be interesting to see what the deal is, because we don't know the specifics. We just know that what Mamdani put out was that we had a great meeting, productive meeting on housing. So I'll be curious to see to what degree. And again, what's the wait until the deal is sealed, what we're expecting from you.
What Mamdani really needs is help on the budget. So the little thing that they're not talking about yet is there'll come a time that he's going to need help on the budget, because right now they're going to be starting the council hearings on the preliminary budget. That's not the real budget. That's the beginning of discussion. But after, he needs money when he puts in his formal mayoral budget.
And he's going to need the federal dollars too.
That's what I'm talking about.
And what's been interesting, Judge, in the last 24 hours, we heard that the federal government has been withholding from a number of states. They did it with Minnesota over the fraud. That's obviously a different issue.
As they should.
Yeah, but they're trying to now kind of control things and say, we're not just going to give money willy-nilly. That sends a pretty big message. What do you think, Judge Weinberg?
I think that's exactly right. As was pointed out here, who controls the purse strings? Who needs the help on the purse?
Ed Cox. I see Ed
Mamdani needs it. Mamdani needs that money desperately.
I was just waiting for Mamdani to hit in his ideals and ideology, to hit the nitty-gritty of New York State politics, and he's just hit it.
Yeah, but my issue is, you guys, and let's look, he has been obviously not a big supporter of ICE. I don't think he's clearly been a supporter of NYPD. There's a lot of things. So if at the end of the day they say, okay, here's the deal, we need you to cooperate, I just see him as being the ultimate ideologue. I'm not sure if he will fold on that. Maybe he's going to try to.
Then he won't get it.
Well, then the boy may try to come back with a counter offer. We'll see.
He won't get it.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, my bet's on Trump. I agree with you.
The man will draw the line in the sand.
But this is an interesting, and Judge Weinberg, we've talked about this, because this guy is more of an ideologue, don't you think?
Absolutely. He's a true believer. He's an ideologue, and he's controlled by ideological people, whether Islamists, whether socialists. They're really controlling him. And also notice who was at the demonstration up in Albany? All the public sector unions. So the fact of the matter is the public sector unions are the ones who are pushing raise taxes. So I think there's money in it for them.
What do you think, Ed Cox?
I agree with that. That's part of the nitty-gritty of New York politics.
Yeah, and you guys understand it all too well.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to healthcare. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.